Did you pass in your evaluation for the city clerk?
Yeah. I actually did it last week and just handed it to him. We got it out of the way.
Everybody please rise. Okay. Dear God, today as the session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessings on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. We'll now do the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United
States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Cirillo. Counselor Conway.
Yeah.
Counselor Elliott.
Here.
Counselor Kennedy.
Here.
Counselor Leahy.
Here.
Counselor Mercier.
Here.
Counselor Milonazo.
Here.
Counselor Noon.
Here.
Mayor Samaras.
Here.
8 present.
Are there any moments of silence? Councilor Leahy?
Thank you. I'd like to offer a moment of silence for David A. Vio, DMD. David was a loving father, grandfather, great-grandfather. David passed away peacefully Sunday, November 7th, at his home at Cobbett's Pond in Windham, New Hampshire, surrounded by his loving family. He resided in Windham, New Hampshire, and Delray, Florida, Delray Beach, Florida, for the last 20 years, former longtime resident of Belvedere section of Lowell. With his loving wife, Pauline, they would have celebrated 66 years of marriage this January. Born in Drake, Mass. On March 27, 1926, he was the son of the late Orlando P. Vio and Alice Russo Vio. Educated in Lowell schools, graduated Keith Academy, then went on to attend St. Anselm's College to study pre-med, transferred to Tufts Dental School. After graduating, he began his dental career with his father-in-law. Several years later, he opened up his own practice. David was a prominent dentist in the city of Lowell for over 50 years. He was also a veteran of the United States Navy, serving during World War II. He was a recipient of the World War II Victory Medal, American Theater Medal, and Aesthetic Pacific Theater Medal. David enjoyed snow skiing with his wife and 5 daughters. Along with his loving wife, Pauline, he leaves behind 5 daughters, Anita Vio Robitel and her husband David, Paula White and her husband Philip, Monique Vio, Celeste Barter and her husband Brian, and Renee Vio and Tom, her partner Tom Panagino. They also have many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. He'll be sorely missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Dr. Chambers. Thank you. First, on the mayor's business tonight, we have a recognition of Youth Bill and Glenn Seghetti for the work performed in refurbishing the manger and the statues inside the manger. Tonight, we had the unveiling at 5:30. Several of us were present. I just want to, as mayor and speaking for the city council, I want to thank Youth Build and Glenn for some outstanding work on the manger. I think when people come down to see this, they're going to be really amazed. It's very, very impressive. So we have a citation which I'd like to read. But actually, before that citation, Councilor Mercer, do you have anything to say? This is
Yes.
your motion.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We're very, very rich in this city, not only with rich in ethnic diversity, not in money, but rich in diversity, rich in partnerships, and this is a culmination of that beautiful partnership that we have with a group called Youth Build. These are students, these are young men and women who went astray to some degree and thought to themselves, I'm worth more than that. I want to straighten my life out. And they did that. They straightened their life out by joining Youth Build. They are in carpentry and construction trades. They're certified. They came back and got their high set. They have certification in the different trades. They go to culinary arts. They have self-worth for themselves. So knowing all about this, they decided to give back to the community. They learned how to give back not only to themselves, but to the city. These boys and girls had it tough. I know them very well. I know about them. Some even lost their way. Some quit school. Some had no goals, no future, nothing to look forward to. And then they turned their life around and said, through Youth Build and Siobhan Sheehan, the director, what can we do to make this city better? And they knew that there was a manger, that there were statues, figurines that were all dilapidated, fallen apart, and they asked if they could put that together and preserve it and bring it back to its pristine quality. And that is just what they did, and it took almost a year to do that. It's not something that they could do overnight. And they did all this under the leadership of artistic therapy professional, and that is none other than Glenn Seghetti, who didn't look for a dime, but acted as a mentor and volunteered his time, his services, and what we saw this evening was a restoration of tradition. It did our hearts very good. We're all so very, very proud, and they're here this evening, and I feel like their mother. I'm just so proud of each and every one of them because they put their heart and soul into whatever they do. I could go on and on all night long because I know that this is just one of the many things that they do. They work for Habitat for Humanity, they restore homes, they provide houses for people to live in. They did it on Suffolk Street. They did it many times. They also give back on September 11th. For the past 2 years at the Masonic Temple, they make breakfast for the police and fire personnel that are coming off their shift in memory of the public safety people that lost their lives. I'm just so very, very proud of them. I'm proud because when I was a young girl at 10 years old, I remember distinctly my mother, as part of the tradition, would bring me down here to attend and kneel in front of the manger, and that's what our tradition was all about. And I know that if it was left undone, these statues were in deteriorating shape, so much so that a head of one was down in one part of the room, and the hand was missing off of this one. So they took the hand of one of the students and they molded it and they put it and affixed it to one of the statues down there. You would never have known that. You would never know that they replaced the head. It's just amazing because I was watching their steps go from something that you probably discard to something that is of beauty. And we're not just saying to do this for our tradition. The city of Lowell is welcoming any tradition, for the menorah to be there, for the African people to put their what they do, and the Buddhist temple to put their traditional person there. Whatever they do, we welcome all ethnic groups to put their traditions there. This is not just about us. So that's why I'm so very pleased, and I just want to take this opportunity, because I don't even think they know how wonderful they are, and I just know that we're all very, very proud of them, that we can go out there and see this, because they didn't just help the city of Lowell. People from Greater Lowell come by and take a look at this too. So from my heart, oh, there you are. I thank you very, very much. Thank you. And I get to give them a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Councilor Mercy is correct. In regard to the manger, it is part of people's tradition. But the thing is, I think she made the important statement that we honor, as a city council, all traditions. All groups are welcome to make their presentation, at City Hall. It just makes for a better city. So we have a citation. Be it hereby known to all that the city of Lowell and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts hereby honor Glenn Seghetti for sharing his outstanding artistic ability with the youth build of Greater Lowell students by helping them restore the nativity scene figures to their original pristine quality. The entire city of Lowell and the Greater Lowell area are delighted that you help the students preserve a valued tradition in our city. It's given this 26th day of November 2019 by myself, William J. Samaras, Mayor. I'd like to have Rita, Councilor Mercier, give this to Glenn, and also if the councilors could come forward and the youth come up so we can have a picture, please.
Not me. Nope, I'm taking a picture. Thank you, though. Thank you very much. Carry on. Hey, youth builders, if you can get in just a little bit more, act like you like each other. All right, on the count of three, if we can do youth build. 1, 2, 3. Youth build. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Boys and girls, thank you, people. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on and thank. Make sure you thank Ms. Donahue and Mr. Samaras and all the counselors. Yep. Just like you know how to do. Come on out here, my little dear. Watch them. Watch them do their magic. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
You guys did a great job. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great job.
Bye, Myra.
Great job.
So it was right next to me. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you, darling. Keep up the good work. There you go. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, sir. You did a very
Thank you
good
so
job.
much. Keep up the good
Thank
work,
you.
okay? There you go.
We're gonna go this way, sweetie.
Thank you, darling. Keep
A little
up,
nervous, I know.
all right?
All right, you ready, boys and girls? Let's go enjoy your evening. Good job.
I think what we had is a good example of the spirit of Christmas. But I should also mention outside that we have Frosty the Snowman and reindeers all lit up on the plaza. All right, so first, yes, Madam Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just while we're talking about the holiday, I just did want to announce for the viewers at home that this Saturday, November 30th, is the City of Lights Parade, and that will be activities. Henry Marchand, I believe, is here. Henry, if you want to come, just tell us briefly of the activities that will be during the day on Saturday with the parade, and the City of Lights Parade as well.
Sure. This is the 31st Annual City of Lights Parade, and we think that it's bigger and better. We've got the parade that begins at 4:30 from Jackson Street, comes down Central Street, up to Merrimack Street, and by the review stand at City Hall at roughly around 5:30, 6 o'clock for the lighting of City Hall, and all of the lights in the plaza and the enhanced decorations. The parade goes all the way down Jackson to set up and even down Canal Street, so it's the longest we've had in terms of a setup and number of units, so it should be pretty exciting. But before then, from 11 o'clock on, there are activities downtown. So we have the wreath decorating workshop at the Pollard Library, begins at 11. The National Park will be running their Holly Jolly Trolley from noon to 3:30. There'll be ornament decorating over at Lowell Makes, some 3D printed snowmen who will be, the kids can put a scarf and a hat on and decorate them and take them home and hang them in their tree. The afternoon from 12 to 4, there'll be entertainment in a tent right outside here at alongside City Hall, and that'll be the Silly Sally show, puppets, face painting, balloon twisting. So that'll go on afternoon. There'll be ice skating over on the plaza as well. We have our artificial ice skating rink, and so families can come and skate, and there'll be rental skates from the Tsongas, or they can bring their own. And the Polar Express movie will happen at 2 o'clock with the National Park. It's just a bunch of great stuff that's happening, and there'll be music and sing-alongs at St. Anne's Church. There'll also be some caroling by the UMass Lowell a cappella choir, by the review stand before and after the parade and the lighting of City Hall. And so St. Anne's Church has tours, and so just a lot of fun things that are happening. There are also a couple of contests. A window decorating contest at participating businesses, and a hot chocolate contest, which is always popular. And these flyers are out and about, and there's a map with all of the participants on the back, where you can go and sample hot chocolate and vote for the hot chocolate and the best windows. So a lot of great activities, and a number of floats that will be vying for the Mayor's Award and the City Manager's Award this year, and so it'll be a tough decision, but I think it'll be a fun day. The weather looks good, much better than the Macy's parade weather. So we invite everybody to come on down and enjoy a great afternoon in downtown Lowell.
Thank you, Henry. Any questions, Councilman Milazzo?
Thank you. It's not a question. I just want to thank Henry for his hard work, but to also note that Jimmy Cook is the Grand Marshal this year. He's retiring from the Lowell Development and Financial Corporation and the Lowell Plan. So Jimmy will be there with his wife and 6 grandchildren. So again, I would encourage people to come down.
I think it will be a nice event. Thank you.
You'll be up front in a couple of great RCC classic car convertibles, so you can't miss them, and it's a well-deserved for Jim for this year.
Thank you. Councilor Kennedy?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I didn't hear you mention the magic show. Is it going to be a magic show?
There will be, but it'll be Silly Sally's magic show.
Okay.
And she's very good, so.
It won't be your magic show?
It won't, not for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
That's,
We'll take this
But
chance.
we will have it.
Yeah, we will. On December 10th, 4 to 6 p.m. here at City Hall, there'll be the holiday open house and the magic show from our city magician.
thank you.
We also will have entertainment and refreshments 4 to 6 on December 10th here at City Hall.
And the hall looks great. Everybody decorates. It's a wonderful setting. Great.
Councilor Noon?
Well, just curious, will the magic show one of those would wish away all the traffic in the city of Lowell?
Henry's working on it.
Uh-oh. Thank you.
I tried to have him do it tonight so I could get here. Thank you. Thanks, Henry. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the minutes of the city council meeting of November 19th for acceptance. I need a motion to accept the place of file by Councilor
Second.
Elliott, second by Councilor Kennedy. Next, we have auditor's business. Vote, appoint Tina Marciello to city auditor's position, establish salary, waive the full reading, second reading by title. to appoint Tina Masiello to the position of city auditor and establish a salary in the city of Lowell. I need a motion to adopt.
Move to
By
approve.
Council Conway,
Second.
second by Council Elliott. Roll call?
Counsel Cirillo. Counsel Conway.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Council
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please express our sincere thanks to Karen O'Byrne for the excellent job that she has done filling in the position as the acting auditor. She is a credit to her office and to the city, and I feel I speak for my
Should we
colleagues.
I think we should send a letter of
Yeah, she did a
gratitude,
tremendous job.
to her, because
Thank
she-
you.
she held on for quite a while and did a splendid
Yes,
job.
absolutely.
So, Madam Manager, if they could help us,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for that, Councilor Mercia.
Give her a day off like that.
Okay, next, we have,
Madam Mayor,
oh, yes, Councilor Leahy.
just a suggestion, when we came for the police awards, they were very, very generous. So maybe like a leave early or one day off in recognition of all her hard work.
Well, she works for you, so I think that
All
sounds
right,
like,
so we can.
sounds like a motion.
Can we make a motion, give her one day off for good,
Yeah,
for a nice
I'll
job
second
that she
that.
did.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Do we have to vote on that, or no?
Yes.
Yes, roll call.
Counsel Cirillo. Counsel Conway.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Thank you.
And I'm sure she'll know how to account for that in the payroll.
Very good. We can't go to the hearings yet, it's not 7 o'clock. So we'll go to communications from the city manager. Motion responses. First petition response, City Hall and Merrimack Street pedestrian safety. Not sure who did that, Councilor, Madam Manager?
Yes, thank you. This was obviously brought, it actually has been discussed here a number of times, but there was a petition filed by employees here from City Hall that was referred to the transportation engineer. And Planning and Development, Natasha is here. As you can see in her report, she does outline a number of, this is a very serious issue out front of City Hall and has been. I know the council had looked at this some years back and came up with a design, the prior traffic engineer, that was costly, but we've talked about in this report from Natasha, immediate steps, short-term and then long-term. She is here to elaborate on the report. We also had a second part of that, and that is from the police department. From October 30th to November 8th, the police department did step up enforcement right in front of City Hall. We spoke today with Deputy Gollner. They are going to continue to do that, but in your packet, you can see between those dates, there were 42 citations given. It was a pretty obvious situation that people were texting and driving. People were not stopping for crosswalks. For people in the crosswalk, people were being pulled over regularly. Just enforcing it, I think, gets a lot of the drivers' attention out here, and you can see some slowing down, but we need to continue the enforcement. But if there are questions regarding the report, Natasha is here. You may have seen the portable signs in the crosswalks became victims of being struck and flattened out. So we're looking for a more durable as well as effective in terms of, sight lines and the rapid flashing beacons to really get drivers' attention.
Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There is an immediate solution and there's a short-term solution. And as part of the short-term solution, it talks about an outreach campaign about Mass General laws requiring that motorists yield to pedestrians. I don't know what it is, but if you went to Andover or Lexington or whatever and you went to cross the street, bang, they stop on a dime. I said, what happened? I mean, we're not used to that down here. But the fact is that if we have flyers inserted into a mailer and we asked LTC for a PSA, a public service announcement, that would be wonderful. So if we could do that, if you need a motion to do that,
Yeah, we talked about that in circulating it with the schools, the students, the college, Middlesex community, the university. I know the university does something similar, but to educate people and let them know that.
That's right.
That's part of it too.
Yeah, of course, we can, I don't know the mechanics of it, I don't know if there has to be a motion, but we can certainly contact LTC and contact UMass Lowell and get the details of their campaign. Their campaign is more focused on pedestrian behavior than on driver behavior, but I think it needs to be a multi-pronged approach.
Sure, that's great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll look into putting it into mailers as well. You know, I just checked with CFO. We can't do it in the tax bill, but there are other mailers that we may be able to insert it,
Thank you.
the educational piece in.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Yeah, just very quickly, again, I thank you for the report, and I think it's so important, and we've talked about this numerous times on the floor. And I will say, what Councilor Mercy had just mentioned, going through towns, and you're absolutely right. The only problem with out here, it's very, very difficult to see. When you're in that car driving by, it's very difficult to see that crosswalk. So I think with the additional signage, it certainly is gonna make a big difference, and again, have, like we've talked about before, at Middlesex Community College, I mean, it immediately gets your attention.
Yeah.
Right here, when you go out, you don't think about it.
Yep.
And it is dangerous, there's no doubt about that. Thank you.
Councilor Elliott?
Just one quick question. I know that I asked this in the past, and have we thought about signalizing that blinking yellow, or can we make it blinking red, or just something to, I think people look and they see the yellow and they just.
Yeah,
ahead.
so a blinking red would signify a stop sign. So basically, we would just need to do a traffic study to see what the best decision is at Worthen. Actually, the previous transportation engineer had planned to actually completely remove that light, and it just never got completed. And that's something the city electrician and I have discussed, that at some point they want to repurpose that masthead, the mast arm, and that signal at another location for one of our outdated traffic signals. Because of the proximity to the Arcand and Dutton intersection, having a stop sign right there might really impact the traffic flow. However, I do agree that it's a very long stretch from that signal to the next signal at, I guess, Aiken or Cabot, and I guess it's Cabot, and that is a problem. I think we need to look at what the right thing to do there is. For now, I think I would recommend we leave it flashing yellow while we evaluate what the best options are. And I do think some of these immediate and short-term solutions will improve pedestrian safety at that location.
Councilor Lee?
I was just gonna ask, when we redo the intersection, you know, it's popular now, we have City of Artists too, those 3D crosswalks.
Yeah.
So that might be something to look into.
Yeah, I think that is something worth looking at. I think if I saw one of those that looked like floating blocks, I would stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely something to
Good to
consider.
think about.
Yeah.
Also, Councilor Conway brought up a good point. It is a wide street.
Yes.
As you make the circle, and people's field of vision can be encumbered by cars, the way they're parked. Is there anything that can be placed besides changing maybe the color of the crosswalk, but other type of cones or something?
Yeah, you know, we've looked at a couple different options. There are actually communities that have flags for pedestrians to carry and wave to make them more visible. According to MUTCD, you're not supposed to put other colors within the crosswalks. So we will. I think we should implement the immediate and short-term solutions. I have contacted LRTA. So, like, the first step is actually moving the bus stops, and then eliminating the parking spots and moving the benches, and then adding some high-vis signage, and trying to find funding for the rectangular rapid flashing beacons. And I think if we can do those things, I think we'll see an improvement in safety. And then we can start evaluating, like, what should we do with the traffic signal at Worthen, and what other options will help make it more safe to cross.
Possible speed bumps.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, in this particular location, speed bumps aren't appropriate because of the average daily traffic volume, but there, for instance, a raised crosswalk would be potentially appropriate, depending on, just because the fire station is so close. But like, there are things that we could do that would be more tangible and tactile. So yeah, we just have to analyze and study and make a good decision, because it is such a visible location in the city. Yeah.
Thank you for being well thought out. Did we include the safety enforcement also, Madam Manager?
Yeah, I alluded to that. That's a second part of this report in that the police department reported between the October 30th and November 8th dates, that the number of citations, and they were pulling people over on a regular basis. They were doing it 2 and 3 times a day out here. I think it had an impact and effect, and they are continuing to do that. Believe me, for all of those who drive, when we drive through there every morning, there is a cruiser there 9 times out of 10, and they are pulling people over. So I think the behaviors that we're trying to address here, because we have so many employees coming up from the employee parking lot and crossing, people not paying attention, people texting and driving, those are what, the citations confirmed are happening out here. And so enforcement has to be a part of this as well, and we had conversations with the LPD about that.
Thank you. We're going to jump back to the utility public hearing at 7 o'clock. 5.1, National Grid / Verizon New England requests relocation of JO pole number 1 at 834 Andover Street on Heartland Avenue. We'll open up the hearing. Those who want to speak in favor, anyone want to speak in favor?
My name is Paulo Sattler. I'm an engineer from National Grid, and I'm speaking in favor of the relocation of the pole. If anybody has any questions too, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wants to speak in favor? In favor? No, portion is closed. Anyone who wants to speak in opposition? In opposition? No, portion is closed. I need a motion to refer to the wire inspector for a report and recommendation. By Councilor Kennedy, second by Councilor Milonazo. Thank you. Back to motion responses from the city manager. Speed calming at dangerous intersections. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Natasha, for the report. Could you elaborate on, I know you identified saying that the MassDOT has identified 15 intersections in the city of Lowell that really need to be addressed with regard to either be raise the sidewalk to flashing light and so on. Could you address that a little bit, please?
Sure. There's a list of the top 200 most dangerous intersections in Massachusetts. Lowell has 15 of those. As I noted in the report, out of the top 50, 36 occurred in gateway cities. Gateway cities do have kind of a unique challenge in that we're large population centers, we have aging transportation infrastructure, and then we're also often transit hubs. So in Lowell, we have the Gallagher Terminal. It really makes it a challenge to design, to update our infrastructure, our transportation infrastructure for a modern design aesthetic, including our complete streets, trying to make it safer for all modes of transit. We do have a number of projects going on in the city that address some of those dangerous intersections. One of them is at Nesmith and Andover, and we have a planned design project at one of the most dangerous ones, which is at Church and Apple. It's all 3 different names in downtown, that leading on Church, heading out of town toward Andover Street. So we need to, one of the problems is it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. We can't say every intersection in Lowell needs the exact same treatment. We have to evaluate them individually, and if they're state intersections, we have to coordinate with the state for what design is appropriate there. But there are a lot of communities that are implementing these different options, narrowing lanes, putting in mini roundabouts, at traffic signals, altering the signal lanes, adding leading pedestrian intervals, restricting rights on red. And in some places in Lowell, those things are going to work, and then in some places, they're not going to be appropriate. So we have to look at it at each individual location and try to figure out what's going to be the best solution.
So I noticed that you identify a dozen of options. Since you're an expert, which one of those options that's more effective or cost effective that we should implement to at least some of the intersection in the city of Lowell?
The most cost-effective of these, I would say, would be narrowed lanes, because that's simply a question of repainting. And, because our paint doesn't last very long, it's, it gets faded. It's not very costly to repaint lanes, and especially around intersections. So in terms of the most cost-effective, I would say that. The most expensive ones are speed tables and raised crosswalks, because that's an instance where you're going to be changing the elevation of the roadway. You have to evaluate drainage impacts. We might have to add catch basins and pipes and connect to existing drainage infrastructure. We can do some of these things in more of a pilot. So it's like a tactical urbanism, where we get inexpensive materials like flex posts and paint, and add some chicanes and try it out. And so we do a speed study and then add some chicanes at a particular intersection, and then do a speed study afterwards to see if the impact it has. So there are some things we could do in a more shorter, less expensive time. They don't look very nice, but they would give us some information about what would potentially work at different places.
So you identified narrow lane as one as the cost effective, and maybe you can do it now and cheap. So how soon can you apply those in some of these location sections?
Unfortunately, the weather right now would make it difficult to paint. I think we might be not quite at the point where we might still be able to paint, but the temperature is such that the paint takes forever to dry when it's cold. So we might not be able to implement it until the spring. But I would say we could identify some intersections and do some design, and maybe do some implementation come March or April.
Yeah, could you update us then, say April of next year's, and with those planned, and and what some of those short-term and long-term plan, and those addressing some of those intersection issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? All right, next motion by Councilor Leahy, community choice aggregation. Councilor Leahy.
Thank you. Good report. The only thing I would ask, Madam Manager, is there a way to put some of this information on the website so that
Yes.
it's noticeable, so people pick up on it, and if they do want to join with the new aggregate, they know how to join in?
Yeah, that's a good point, Counselor. We spoke with Catherine Moses about that. Catherine is here, and at least that is one way that we can let people know, how they'd go about it. And Catherine, you may want to speak to it more in detail. There is a problem. We can't outright contact people, but we can certainly make the information available publicly.
Yes, thank you, Madam Manager, and thank you, Councilor Leahy, for the opportunity to continue to educate our residents and businesses about the aggregation program. We had done an update a couple of months ago. We had gotten fixed pricing at 11.874 cents per kilowatt hour, which is about 2 cents cheaper than National Grid's current basic service rate. There are several different classes of people that can enroll in the aggregation. It's open to any type of person with a service address within Lowell. It can be residents, businesses, industrial customers, and the ways that you enroll in the program, there's a website that our consultant for the aggregation manages, where people can get their billing information, have your account number, your service address, and you can just click to opt in there. There's also a toll-free phone number that they can call the supplier. The problem with notifications, I know that there has been some confusion around the notification process and how people join the program. If you were already part of the aggregation program, you should have received a written notification in the mail. If you did not opt out, then you're a part of the program. If you have a competitive supplier, we can't actually get the names of those people to let them know about the program other than mechanisms like our website, like the city council. And if people that are on a different competitive supplier would like to join the aggregation, they just need to check with their competitive supplier, because some of the contracts have early exit fees, but if your program does not have that, you would follow the same steps of either going to the website or calling the phone number. And then there are basic service customers that haven't been enrolled previously in the program. Those will have a sweep probably within the next month or so of those customers. There are also basic service customers that have previously opted out of the program. And if those people would like to come back in, we can't really do specific mailings to them, because if you do that, then you get some very upset customers at times, and they can complain to the DPU, the Attorney General, and things like that. We want to avoid that, but if there are people that have previously opted out of the program and would like to come back in, you can do that by either going to the website or getting a phone number. I know that there are also a number of people that will go door to door and claim to be National Grid representatives or claim that our aggregation program is going away. None of those are correct. And in order to go door to door, they should have some type of identification, and they should have a canvassing license. So if people run into that type of situation, just know that you have a right to say, no, you can't see my electricity bill. You shouldn't show your electricity bill to anyone. And we will never, in our program, go door to door to try to get that kind of information from people.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Mose, for the report. So this is an ongoing enrollment, is that correct?
So there are different types of enrollment. We do, on a regular basis, ask for new customers from National Grid's basic service list, but at any time, any customer within Lowell can come into the program or opt out of the program.
Can you put together a bullet points as to who can and how and when they can do that? Maybe also share with some of the nonprofit as well as the LTC producer. Those from various languages, say in Khmer, in Spanish, in African, and so on and so forth, so that they know of, because you are the expert here. So with bullet point as to who can and how they to apply certainly would help in passing the word around, because those producers will translate it in their own native language to the community, so the community have information in terms of to be part of this.
I think that's an excellent idea, Councilor Noon, and I will be sure to follow up on that. And in the meantime, we'll update our website with more comprehensive information about these different customer classes, but that's an excellent idea as well.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Also, thank you for bringing up that point, that there are companies out there that try to take advantage, especially of seniors, saying that you have to show us your bill and we can save you this. What other things can we do? Because I think every city councilor here has been made aware of, by people in their neighborhoods, of these people coming in, sort of showing a card but not showing the card, talking fast, and in a sense frightening some people, because they come in with we'll say a threatening tone to their message. What other things can we do? I mean, what do communities do to
Yeah, I'm not sure what other communities are doing to to help crack down on these actors. Like I said, in the city of Lowell, in order to go door to door, you do have to have a canvassing permit that's done through the city clerk's office.
But they
And
don't. In many cases, they really don't.
that may be the case, and if that is the case, it's a matter of enforcement. You know, we always recommend that nobody show anybody your National Grid bill, because if they have your information, they can take that information and enroll you without your permission. If you do
I
find
think, that's an important, can we get, even just, how do we go about getting that message out to everybody?
I think that's a really good question, and I think that's something we can do as an enhancement on our website as well. It's something that we can also do when we speak to LTC. But I think just continuing to re-emphasize this and possibly even looking into how other communities do this, I'd be happy to do that as a follow-up as well, because I know there are a lot of people out there that are not doing what they're supposed to do. And I know that unfortunately we do get a lot of complaints in our office about people that have heard misinformation. If you do find that you've been switched without your consent, typically on your electricity bill, there will be a notification that our records indicate that you have switched suppliers to, and whatever the supplier's name is done. If this has been done in error, then it gives you a number to contact. There's actually a number at the DPU where you can register complaints as well, and we'd be happy to provide that information as well.
That's good information. Thank you very much.
Speak on that. Can I speak on that? Speak on that issue. Can I? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. The clerk would like to speak on that.
Just as a matter of information, and Ms. Moses brought it up, there's a licensing process through my office that they do come in and get canvassing licenses. Years ago, there were people that were out in the street without the license. The problem has risen in the last couple of years is the aggressive salesmanship. They have the license, but they're just going out and being ultra aggressive and getting what they're looking for. But I think, as Ms. Moses indicated, that in the council has indicated, getting information out to the citizens of Lowell that they know that, what the information is and what they should be looking for will be extremely helpful. And it just says, in addition to, I think that the Council of Aging should be involved in this as well, because a lot of the targets are the elderly, and they're just confused about it, and it can be confusing. And so I think, the right approach is general knowledge and general information out to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Any questions, further questions? Thank you. All right, so I need a motion to accept and place on file.
So
By
moved.
Councilor Noon, second by Councilor Mercia. Next, we have 6.2, communication. City manager requests out-of-state travel for 3 members of the Lowell Police Department. I need a motion to adopt. By Councilor Kennedy, second by Councilor Noon. Roll call.
Council Cirillo, Council Conway.
Yes.
Council Elliott.
Yes.
Council Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy. Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Milonazo.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next, we have votes from the city manager. Vote accept a gift of $14,360 from Middlesex Community College. Waive the full reading, second reading by title. Authorize the city manager on behalf of the city of Lowell to accept a gift from Middlesex Community College of $14,360 towards installing rectangular rapid flashing beacons on Merrimack Street, County Square. Okay, I need a motion to adopt by Councilor Conway, second by Councilor Noon. Roll call.
Council Cirillo. Council Conway.
Yes.
Council Elliott.
Yes.
Council Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Milonazo.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next, we have a vote accept a gift of the hydro sculpture from Cool. Waive the full reading, second reading by title. Authorize the city manager on behalf of the city of Lowell to accept a gift from the cultural organization of Lowell Cool of a hydro sculpture of public art project spearheaded by Cool and the artist Nancy Selvage Art Traction LLC, located in the city's Utopian Park in the Hamilton Canal Innovation District. I need a motion to adopt by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Noon. Roll call.
Council Cirillo. Council Conway.
Yes.
Council Elliott.
Yes.
Council Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Milonazo.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next, we have a vote to authorize city manager to execute access agreement with Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC for property at 191 Mount Pleasant Street. Waive the full reading, second reading by title. Authorize the city manager to execute an access agreement between the City of Lowell and Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC to install, construct, replace, maintain, repair, and operate, inspect, augment, and remove at Comcast's sole option and expense certain wires, cables, conduits, lock boxes, and other appurtenant fixtures and equipment at 191 Mount Pleasant Street, Lowell. I need a motion to adopt by Council Kennedy, second by Council Noon. Roll call.
Counsel Cirillo, Counsel Conway.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia. Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next, we have a vote establish minimum residential factor for fiscal 2020. I need a motion to refer to a public hearing on December 10th, 2019 at 7 p.m. by Council Kennedy, second by Council Elliott. Next, we have vote supplement appropriation of $800,000 for fire department, waive the full reading and second reading by title. Order a supplemental appropriation of $800,000 to raise from tax levy and local receipts and appropriate to the Lowell Fire Department's salary and wage account. So I need a motion to adopt.
So
by
moved.
Council Elliott, second by Council Conway. Roll call.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry.
I'd
Yes.
just like to ask the city manager to explain this.
Sure. Thank you, and through you to the council. So the raise and appropriate money here tonight is the result of, obviously, we settled the collective bargaining agreements, which was the current fiscal year and a retro year. But it is apparent that we need to have a new class rather than wait for July 1st. The numbers are down in terms of the police department. In conversations with the chief, it's important that we start a new class in January if possible. I think there are also anticipated retirements coming in addition. And so the concern was not waiting for the next fiscal year, but doing it in January and getting a class going of 7 new firefighters. As you recall, in the past, there were federal grant monies that would help shoulder the hiring of new firefighters, and we did participate and had the benefit of that for a few years, but now it's all on us. Nonetheless, in order to deal with things like overtime and company closures, maintaining that 213 number for firefighters is really critical. So, the chief has been keeping a close eye on that number, and if we were to wait till the next fiscal year, we're going to be that much further behind, not just the 7 we're talking about, but probably on the anticipated retirements that may be coming down the line. So it's a combination of where we're at this point in the year. I don't know if the CFO has more clarification.
No, I think the memo was very explanatory, it provided a lot of information. I thought it was important to let the people at home know what this is for. I concur. I think that we should be moving forward. And I also want to recognize the fact that this is staying within the levy.
Yes.
So it's all managed within, and there's no additional burden on the 2020 tax levy. I thought that was an important aspect to
And
to
just
mention,
as
too.
a footnote, there was some concern going back to the older grant money that when it came through, there was some feeling that we didn't get a full accounting of what we should have. I know the chief has worked with Congresswoman Trahan's office trying to recoup some of those monies. There's no guarantee, but there's a feeling that there may be money due the city from that past grant.
No, and as you mentioned, Madam Manager, I think it's important to maintain our staffing levels, and this accomplishes that as well, to minimize these company closings that, that will jeopardize public safety. So I'm going to support this.
Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this $800,000 will go into a new recruit that's supposed to be sometime in July of next year, and maintaining the staffing level, the high staffing level that we have, as well as overtime, and also reduce the company closing.
Yeah, the idea is to get a class in the academy sooner rather than later, starting in January. It takes, and the chief can speak to this, it takes a considerable amount of time to get a class through the academy, and we are already, we know we're down the numbers due to retirements, and we expect more. But Chief, in terms of the timing of the class and why we want to bring them on in January?
Sure, thank you, Madam Manager. Right now, it's about a 9-month wait to get recruits into the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. There's a backup that many communities in the Commonwealth have been hiring people, so there is a long backup, so it takes a long time to go through the hiring process and to train all the firefighters. So hiring these 7 in January will be very helpful for our, as the manager mentioned, for our overtime spending and for our company closures as well.
So I do agree with Councilor Elliott, because it's important to keep our staffing level at where it's at now, 213, and do as best as we can to minimize or reduce the company closings, because it's paramount to ensure that our residents feel safe when they need the fighters to address some of the the fire in the city. So I thank you.
Councilman Milazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too plan to support the vote to transfer the funds in. Again, public safety is, paramount importance, and just by coincidence, today the Commonwealth actually recognized a number of firefighters across the state with commendations as well as heroism awards. So again, just by coincidence today, they were doing that at the State House. I'd also like to just mention, looking at the traffic improvements that we're contemplating for the next couple of years, making sure that we have the proper level of staffing in the fire department is going to be key. When you start tearing up Lord Overpass and you do other big transportation projects, you need to make sure you have the staff available, even if they end up moving out of a certain location, to be in a location that would be more conducive to making sure that our public is safe.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. And when we are understaffed, the chief has no choice sometimes but to close companies or close, have a rotating closure, which with the traffic, as you mentioned, it's going to be even more of a challenge. So having full staffing levels is going to be key as we go through these next couple of years with the construction.
Yes, and another issue is water mains. When bridges are closed, when the Lord Overpass gets closed, there are going to be some issues with some of the water mains, so it is critical to keep as many companies open as possible.
I want to thank the councilors for bringing up those questions, but Chief, really, thank you for thinking ahead, because that's very important for your men in your department, for their safety, but also for the safety of the city, to anticipate a problem. That's why you're here. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, fine. Next, we have...
Need a roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call.
You have the motion, need the roll call. Counsel Cirillo. Counsel Conway.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy. Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Thank you. Next, we have orders from the city manager, order 60-day trial, waive the full reading and second reading by title. Pursuant to Chapter 266 of the Code of Ordinance, City of Lowell, Massachusetts, concerning Section 266-6 thereof entitled Temporary Experimental Regulations, Temporary Traffic Regulations are hereby implemented for a period of up to 60 days. I need a motion to adopt by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Noon. Roll call.
Counsel Cirillo. Counsel Conway.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Next, we have resolutions. Resolution to support fully funding the bond bill, redesign and construction of a new permanent bridge to replace the temporary Rourke Bridge. Waive the full reading, second reading by title. The City Council of the City of Lowell wishes to be recorded in support of fully funding the bond bill relative to design and construction of a new permanent bridge to replace the 30-year-old temporary Rourke Bridge in Lowell, Mass. I need a motion to adopt by Councilor Kennedy, and second by Councilor Milonazo. Roll call.
Counsel Cirillo. Counsel Conway.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Counsel Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
8 yeas.
Then reports of any subcommittee reports. Then we have a wire inspector, National Grid request installation of a heavy-duty handhold on the sidewalk at 15 Pearl Street. I need a motion to accept and adopt accompanying orders by Councilor Conway, second by Councilor Kennedy. And we have 10.2, wire inspector, National Grid requests installation of a SCADA gas pressure system to comply with safety standards in Calorie Park area across from 242 Parker Street. I need a motion to accept and adopt the accompanying order. Council Noon, second by Council Milonazo. Then we have petition, 2 on property damage. I need a motion to refer the law department for report and recommendation by Council Conway, second by Council Elliott. Then under miscellaneous, Eric Faulkner from Waltham West requests installation of an overhanging sign located at 197 Market Street. I need a motion to refer the law department for report and recommendation by Council Noon, second by Council Milonazo. Finally, under miscellaneous powered use, request installation of 2 overhanging signs at 120 and 122 Market Street. I need a motion to refer to the law department.
So moved.
Report and recommendation by Council Elliott, second by Council Noon. Then we're now at City Council motions. First motion by Council Mercia, request city manager allow a memorial plaque or a sign at McPherson's Park in Centerville in honor of Michael Sully Sullivan in gratitude for his many years of service, use of our city. I need a second by Council Elliott. Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I bring forward this motion to honor the many years of service to not only our city, but to the youth of our city in Centerville. Active for many years in youth sports, Michael coached or served on the board for the St. Michael's Baseball League, the Centerville Baseball League, Junior League Football, Pop Warner Football, and Lowell Youth Basketball. Sully enjoyed being a baseball umpire, officiating at many games. He also served on the Lowell Board of Parks for the past, not the past, but for 19 years. This would be a fitting tribute to a man that gave so much to the city and to the youth. That's why we propose it.
Thank you. Council Elliott.
This is a great motion by Council Mercier. She just outlined all of his contributions to the city, and it's fitting to do this for him, and considering all of his years on the Board of Parks, which is can be a thankless job. So I think it's a great motion, and wholeheartedly support it.
Thank you. Next, by Council Mercy, request city manager find ways and means to address the dilapidated and deteriorating conditions at Colley Stadium, including the bleachers, field, and restrooms. Need a second?
Second.
By Council Noon. Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This motion is one of maintaining property that we own, and it fits alongside the charge to keep on top of school buildings, city buildings, as well as parks, and especially athletic fields such as Colley Stadium. I'm passing around pictures now. These pictures, I'm going to submit the pictures as part of this motion because I have passed around those pictures, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. Pictures of deteriorating cement bleachers, stands, a field that is 13 years old. Since 2006, they need to have this upgraded and redone. Bathrooms that seem like they need an upgrade as well into the 21st century. And I wanted to know if the playing field has ever been sanitized, because that's part of what we're supposed to be doing, and I don't know if the field was ever sanitized. Colley Stadium gets plenty of use. It is home to Lowell Junior Football, Pop Warner Football, field hockey, Lowell High School Soccer, Lowell High School Football, and the last 5 or 6 years, MIAA had the Super Bowl there. The cost of this work would be more than expensive. I'm not going to deny that. Can we have corporate sponsors to use their name on banners around the field? Honest to God, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the city manager, wait till you see these pictures. People come together and said, please do something with this. So I'm proposing a motion. I know how expensive it's going to be, but if we could get corporate sponsors and then put their name on banners, it's really a lot of work that needs to be done there.
Council Conway.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is an excellent motion, and I know that in the last couple of years we have discussed this in the past. I know that was last year I took a tour, and I know we sat down with city manager and discussed it. The coaches brought me around. It certainly is in difficult shape right now. And I think it's probably a Herculean task to do everything at once, needless to say, because of the cost. But I think that we have to take a look at it and come up with a plan on what direction we're going to go in. What are the most severe problems that we have to deal with first?
Madam Manager?
Thank you. Yeah, this is a good motion. This is something that we have looked at. It is true, it will be expensive. We did put together a working group to try and identify needs, priorities and potential funding sources. Looking at potential corporate sponsors is a good idea and something that we really will look into exploring, Counselor. So, but we do have the working group existing concerning Collie. There's a lot of serious issues, and it's a great asset for the city. Even the parking lot is in dilapidated condition. I mean, so it is in much need of attention for sure.
All set, thank you. Next, another motion by Councilor Mercia. Request city manager have proper department instruct MBTA to clean debris left by the homeless shelter along the railroad track behind 50 Wall Street. A second by Councilor Noon. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On September 11th of last year, a similar motion was presented, and people from the railroad had a crew clean along the track to which homes abut on Wash Street. And they can look out their back window and they can see the debris from homeless camps that are piled up. Neighbors actually cleaned the area. Someone from Pan Am took the bags away. So there is a big difference as to who cleaned along the tracks. It was really the neighbors that did that. And they think they entered from Peavy Street is the way that I see it. Not only is there debris, but someone from Pan Am somehow cut healthy maple trees down as well. It seems that they did this disappearance act behind 50 Wash Street. So now where there were trees that were beneficial for filtering out the diesel from the trains, the buffer zone has been eliminated. These trees were not hanging over or jeopardizing private property. These trees were just fine, and the lady that I'm representing here through this motion has COPD and emphysema, so that these trees were beneficial to her in many, many ways. So here's the challenge. Number one, why were the trees cut down? Could someone find out why were the trees cut down? Secondly, could Pan Am or someone from the city do a cleanup along the railroad tracks so that good tax-paying residents can see other things outside their window other than trash, tents, debris, and an occasional rat or two that they have seen in the past? So these are the things that I'm concerned that abut Wash Street. So if we could...
Councilor Kennedy.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is a good motion. I believe I'm the one that had the motion on last September. But, it turned into a big deal because nobody wanted to take responsibility for the railroad bed. And Madam Manager, I think you were involved at the time when we went back and forth with Pan Am and with the MBTA as to who was in charge. But it is... what happens with that camp is that people go and just collect stuff that they want to make the camp be better. And then you end up with a whole bunch of debris down there. And just getting it out of there is not, it isn't like you can just roll up a truck. Probably the railroad could do that, but for other people it becomes difficult. And it's been a real, an annoyance for a long, long time for all of the neighbors there. So I think this is a good motion. I'm just sad to see that that it's still a problem.
It is, yeah. I'm sorry, too.
Yeah, we'll contact Pan Am again. You're correct. We did have a back and forth with them. We thought we had it worked out. Steve Benoit was here working with Pan Am. The city was prepared to assist, and it's their property, but if they could bring it so far, we could take it away. And then I think that deal fell apart, and I think Steve's crew actually did a lot of the cleanup too instead of them, but we will reach out to them again. it is their property, there is an access issue. We're happy to work together to try and get this issue. I think there was some cleanup done last year. The camp, was removed and so forth, but obviously it's a continuing problem, as happens in certain of these sites. So, but we'll reach out to Pan Am again and try and get the dialogue going so that we can try and bring some relief.
Thank you so much, thank you. I'm sure the neighbors will appreciate it, too.
Finally, last motion by Councilor Conway, request city manager provide a report regarding the plan and responsibility for setting up polling booths for handicapped voters. Second by Councilor Elliott. Councilor Conway.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager, back a couple weeks ago during the Disabilities Commission, which I'm on that, with that group, there was a report out that individuals that went to, I believe it was the polling station at Lowell High School, that nothing seemed to be set up. Apparently, they asked about it, and it seemed to be confusion on whose responsibility it was, whether it was somewhere in the Election Commission office or whether it was at the high school itself. So I think that if we can get this straightened out and clear this up for the election, so that everyone is able to everyone's able to vote in the comfort level that they should be. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. We will get that information for you and for the Disability Commission as well. And I know I've had conversations with the Solicitor's Office and the Election Office. I think there was confusion at one of the polling places. I think perhaps some of the people on site were unaware that the equipment was actually there, and so they may have given misinformation that the equipment wasn't available, and it turns out it was. So we will make sure that everybody knows and certainly get back with a report as to what happened at that polling location.
And just one other thing, too, is that they did ask about whether there would be some type of a punch list of things that had to be done at these,
Yes.
at the polling, and who might be responsible, if we have anybody responsible for it.
Yeah, actually, Elliot Veloso did put together a binder with punch lists for every single polling location. I believe it's the warden who is tasked with going through every single checklist and including issues such as that. So we will certainly make sure that we get a report as to what happened if it was indeed Lowell High School. But we have another election coming up in March, and so we want to make sure, we refine this and make sure everybody is, well-informed and well-trained. But they were provided a binder this election so that they could follow the binder and have explicit information right at their fingertips. I don't know if the solicitor has anything to add.
No,
Okay.
I thank you, and I will get that word back to the Disabilities Commission, letting them know that you are preparing that. Thank you.
Councilman Milazzo.
Just quickly on a related matter, where are we, Madam Manager, hiring the Director of the Election Office at this point?
Yeah, we will be posting that again now that this election is over. Obviously, Attorney Veloso was acting in an interim capacity, so we will be posting it again. We didn't want to do anything in the midst of the election that was ongoing, and since he had it in good control, but now we have a little bit of a breather room, so we want to get it posted ASAP.
Okay, thank you. And again, just talking the same we did with the acting city auditor, we should really thank Attorney Veloso for stepping up and doing a very good job with the election. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You probably recall that last week, Councilor Elliott asked me about legislation that might be pending at the State House regarding PFAS. And so if I could just give a speedy report, there are but two bills dealing with PFAS. One would call for an interagency task force, and that is both a bill and it also is included as language as a budget amendment in the supplemental budget. And the second piece of legislation would ban the use of PFAS in packaging for food products. That's all that there is down there. I'm not sure that anything's gonna happen for the time that I have remaining here, but I'll try to keep everybody posted on how that goes from here on in.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Counsel, you're all set. We had announcements at the beginning of the meeting. Any more announcements? Counsel Kennedy?
Thank you. I would like to, just recently, this past week, the legislature voted to approve the Article 97 regarding the high school that goes across, that is for the two walkways that connect or link the two second floors of the two buildings and crosses Lucille Arkham Park. And at 10 o'clock on Wednesday night, the Article 97 was in a committee on the House side, and it wasn't looking too good. But by 12:02, it had passed both houses by unanimous roll call, and it gave me firsthand appreciation for the longevity of the state reps that we have over on the House side. So I would just like to commend Representative Nangle and Representative Golden and Representative Mom for the work that they put in on that issue. And I suppose I'm also giving myself a pat in the back in a way too. Anyways, thank you.
City Manager.
Thank you. Thank you. I do want to publicly thank and commend Senator Kennedy, as well as Representative Nangle. His office had filed and shepherded this through, as well as Representative Golden. And I know when it came down to the home stretch and the 11th hour, it was all hands on deck to get that done. And it's not an easy task to get 200 votes for something like this in the dead of night. But I do want to thank everyone involved because it is so important to us. We are very much advanced in the detailed design and have had a lot of work done. And until that's in place, the MSBA cannot forward to us their 80%. And so the bills come in each month. And I did have occasion to mention it. That, if you go on a recess for a couple of months, which is typically what happens at this time of year, our bills aren't going to stop. And so this is a very big thing for us to be able to access the 80% reimbursement from the MSBA. So thank you very much. I think the CFO thanks you.
Sure he does. Thank you. Any other announcements? Motion to adjourn by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Kennedy. Thank you.